Now will we see the magic?
All right, where's Murray? Okay, who is it?
This is Jesus, kid.
Know then that it is the year 10,191.
Yes, we are bored. We're all bored now.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Hello and welcome to Mary vs. the Movies with your host, Mary Jones.
And Dennis Ling.
And I can't stop laughing. I don't know. Look, we should be on vacation and we're not.
Didn't we just do this?
What do you mean?
Didn't we just record all of this?
Yeah, and it turned out we weren't plugged in.
Yeah, well.
So here we go, starting over again. It's been that kind of a week.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we are watching trash this week. Look, I don't have an intro for this.
Where did you hear about this?
I didn't.
Oh, you just...
I looked for beach movies. I looked for movies about being on vacation. And so the movies were...
Is Frankie Valli and Annette Funicello in this?
Okay, so first of all, it wasn't Frankie Valli. It's Frankie Avalon.
Oh, God.
No, we're not
know.
watching Back to the Beach. We should watch Back to the Beach. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but man, I watched that a lot because I was a latchkey kid.
I never saw it.
Oh,
Maybe it's a Dennis versus the movie.
it sure is. Oh my God, it really is. Dennis, look, I will not spoil anything. No, but in, I guess, like the most prurient, follow on from that tradition of beach movies, we're going to watch a movie this week called Hardbodies. And I don't really know anything about this movie.
What year?
I don't know, like 84,
Okay.
85, something like that, middle of the 80s.
For some reason, I feel like 87 is trashier. I don't know why.
I was 8 years old. What do I know? I was watching My Little Ponies. I have no idea what was trashy at the time.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So
I'm just saying this may be, quality.
no, it's definitely not. Look, I know two things about this movie. One,
All right.
it's set at a beach.
Oh, okay.
Two, which is why we're covering it, because
Yeah.
it's summertime and I
Yeah.
wish I was at the beach and we can't go to the beach because reasons. The other thing I know about it is the poster is just a woman's torso in a bikini.
Oh.
I think that really gets to the point. It's called Hardbodies, and here's some cheesecake. I mean, this is not hard to figure out.
What do you mean?
We live in a world, look, it is 2024. It is extremely easy to pull up pornography and has been ever since the invention of the internet, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to leave my house to see pictures of naked people
Yeah.
or videos or whatever.
You don't have to go to a nondescript building.
I mean, they still
It says
exist.
Adult.
They still exist. They're not far from our
A
house.
shack.
Yeah, right by Speck's Roasted Chicken.
Yeah.
Or
Remember that one on 309? It is just
it's still there.
It's like a gray square.
Adult World. It's still there.
No, I'm not talking about Adult World. I'm talking about there was one farther on.
Oh.
Like, past the gun shops.
Oh. Are you talking like up where the strip clubs were?
Maybe. I don't know. I just remember it was I didn't know about strip clubs up there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
No, it was
Once you get past a certain like kind of boundary line from like where the towns are, that's where you start getting to like strip club territory.
Oh, okay.
Like if you go back
Yeah.
20 years ago, like things have honestly changed.
Mm-hmm.
Between what had been like woods or farmland being turned into housing developments, and so all of the sleazy stuff gets like pushed out even further, or it just goes away entirely. Because my point being, we have the internet now. We don't necessarily need it.
Someday we'll see Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
We will. But, okay, look, this is all a tangent. My point being, yes, of course there was pornography, but you had to go and get it, right? When it was the year 1999 and I worked at a bookstore in the mall, did we sell pornography? Of course we did. Did you have to be 18 to buy it? Of course you did. But it is now 2024, and you can get whatever you want, wherever you want, and all you have to do is click a box and say, yes, of course I'm 18. And look, I don't have kids. I don't have strong opinions on this, except that like some stuff is probably harmful in terms of like, depicting relationships between people. At the same time, like, I'm not against people being into, other alternative lifestyles. My point being, once upon a time, there was a place for softcore pornography.
And that place was HBO at like 2 a.m.
Yes. And I don't know that this film goes quite to that level, but when you're called Hardbodies, I got to expect you got a little bit of that in you, right?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, like,
is this like a total?
The better the title is, like, the worse the movie. You know.
You might be right. The last movie we watched was Witness, and we got to see Kelly McGillis's breasts. And I'll bet you anything, we don't see a single bit of flesh in this movie that you would expect.
Wow.
I'm dead serious. I bet we're not going to get anything. This is going to be like a 13-year-old would not ruin a sock over this movie.
God. I gotta say
that escapes the censors.
I gotta say the 80s, they would have nude people at a drop of a hat, though.
They would.
In movies that did not need it at all. Or like it just was like, oh, why is this here?
Okay, so like that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because this is called Hardbodies, I feel like it's just going to be a complete tease, and we're not going to actually see anything.
I agree. I think so. I feel like this is a movie that like came and went on HBO. Came and went. It came and went on HBO, and then like had a second life on USA that seemed to thrive on movies like this.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That type of movie where it's like, it's like barely titillating, but it never gives you any sort of a follow through.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not asking for pornography, but like, something hot, and like you never get to the point of actually hot, right? It's always that sort of like juvenile, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. A little bit of flesh, but not the real thing. And
terrible jokes.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I'm expecting from this.
Yeah.
That doesn't star anybody you've ever heard of. I thought about doing something like, oh God, there's a couple like Robin Williams comedies like from the 80s that I never saw, like
Moscow and Hudson.
Dennis, this is not a movie like Moscow.
It's not.
No,
this?
I was talking about like Club Paradise or something.
Oh,
Jesus
okay.
Christ.
We haven't seen it. We don't know what it's like.
I'm pretty damn sure that Moscow and the Hudson is nothing like Hardbodies.
We don't know yet.
No, look, I think I do. God damn. Look. My point being, there are dumb comedies out there that, oh God, you've completely thrown me off now. Look, this movie's going to be nothing. It's going to be a complete nothing, but it takes place at a beach.
I bet there's going to be an older B-list actor or something. That maybe we'll sort of know, or we'll know something they were in or something.
I mean, fingers crossed, but my hopes are very...
Like it'll be like this old guy, like in between whatever goes on in this. He'll be like searching for coins with like a metal detector.
I mean, are you asking, like, is Buster Keaton going to be showing up in the background of this? Because let me tell you something, he is not.
I would not call him a B-lister.
No, I'm not saying that Buster Keaton is a B-lister.
I'm saying Hume Crone.
Hume Crone, Jesus.
It's going to be walking around in the background.
I mean, look, I don't think there's going to be anybody in this you've ever heard of. This isn't like Summer School, a movie that actually everybody kind of remembers fondly and actually had people in it that you know who they are, right? And
well, one person.
No, who?
Dan Harmon, right?
Summer School?
Oh, am I thinking something different?
Yeah, you're thinking of something different.
Oh,
Summer School, first of all, starred Mark Harmon.
Oh, well,
no, shut up.
Same thing.
Mark Harmon, Kirstie
Alley.
Alley, Kirstie Alley, directed by Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
Possibly, he may have written it. All right, there's like, look, Summer School is a good movie, and I'm kind of annoyed that we can't cover it because I've watched that movie a lot.
I saw it.
Who didn't see it?
Dan Harmon.
All right, look. Shall we go watch Hardbodies? Because I have nothing to say about this. Is there a love triangle?
Is there a murder?
Oh, there might be. I mean, look, I don't know what this movie is.
I'm gonna guess there's no love triangle. I feel like that's too deep.
There's no way there. Yeah, I have the feeling this has the emotions of a kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Dogs?
Do you think they'll even bother to get a dog?
There's got to be a dog somewhere. No. How could you not throw a dog onto the beach?
Insurance. I don't know.
I hope there's a dog. Please let there be a dog. No, I have no idea what this movie is.
Do you think the dog's name will begin with a consonant or a vowel?
Consonant.
Yeah, okay.
Rover.
I think it's going to be Ace. I think his name is going to be Ace the dog.
Ace the dog?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope for your sake we get Ace the dog.
That'd be amazing. It's a complete shot in the dark, but we'll see. Do you think there'll be a nerd with glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
At the very least, somebody to kick sand into his face.
Do you think there'll be a recognizable band? I mean, in the soundtrack.
In the soundtrack, maybe. I thought you were going for like one of those things where they would have a band playing on the beach. You know, that was sort of a thing up through the early 80s. Let's say there's like one recognizable song in this.
Okay.
All right. Cool. So other than that, I expect absolutely nothing from this. This is totally my brain on vacation, even though I'm not actually on vacation because we can't take a vacation this year. Shall we go pine for the beach?
Yeah, sure. There was a dog.
Oh, no, there was a dog, wasn't there?
Yeah, the Geeks owned the dog.
Yeah.
And I think they were called the Geeks in the...
See, I just
credits.
thought they were nerds, but I guess they're geeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's important to make sure we have the right text. Although they give off nerd vibes.
Yeah.
As in Revenge of. A film we will at some point watch. So this film...
Yeah.
It's about what I expected.
I'm kind of not disappointed with it.
That's interesting. Go on.
No, I mean, like...
it
gave you everything you could possibly want from this movie.
As in a lot of topless women?
Yeah. It did have something familiar, and then it had Vixen.
The band Vixen is kind of the house band, as it were.
What were they? Diarrhea...
Oh, God.
Something.
Diarrhea something. Yeah. They may as well have been Diarrhea Planet. I have no idea. You're right. It has a dog. It has a love triangle, sort of, I guess. Nobody dies except my soul a little bit.
A very vague love triangle. Like that's,
like
plot interferes just slightly.
So, first of all, should we even call it love?
Yeah.
It's not. Well, okay, look. No. Between Scotty and what's her name? Christy. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty close.
And Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah. Oh, what was the show he was going to be in called?
Oh, like Hunting with Hunter or something?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. Where to even begin with this movie? It came out 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I typed the name of this film into Twitter or whatever we're calling it these days, just out of curiosity. Like, does anybody I know, have they seen this film? And of course, sure. But I was surprised at how many tweets were about, it's the 40th anniversary of Hardbodies. So apparently this must be a touchstone for men of a certain age.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure some women, but like, frankly, as somebody who plays both sides, it did nothing for me, to be honest. Because I kept thinking about, this is all very weird and awkward.
Not even the, why do guys like boobs scene.
Okay, do you know why that scene bothered me?
Why?
Aren't they supposed to be sisters or something?
Oh, they are?
I thought that was like a line in there that they're sisters or something to that effect. Like they're not just friends.
Maybe they're beach sisters? I don't
know, man. Like, not that they actually...
I didn't know that.
They don't do anything actually incestuous, but it's like that weird thing of, we're going to be like topless in front of each other because we're just so close. And I'm like, no, I don't do that with my sister. And we live in the same house. Like, no, that's not a... Like, not like this, man. Not like this. But it's all part of that sort of weird adolescent prurient idea of sexuality. There's nothing adult about this type of adultness, right? It's like a weird fantasy of what sex is. That's what a lot of these films are, right? And this is a perfect example of that.
Doesn't it feel like there wasn't movies like this before the 80s? I mean, there was, but like... I feel like the 80s like cheapened it even more somehow.
See, I think in the 70s, I mean, for one thing, they were probably just better made films. Not because I'm that biased about the 70s, but you had that whole porno chic thing going, right?
Yeah.
So that, yes, they were explicit films, but they were trying to do something artistic. And like, yeah, okay, look, we've all seen Boogie Nights, and obviously I'm thinking of that. But for real, like they were trying to do stuff like Beyond the Green Door. Was it The Devil and Miss Jones? There's an entire like genre of that stuff, and this is such a step down from those films. And I don't mean that actually in a bad way, because I don't think this is, for what it is, it's not poorly made, right? This is not a badly made film. I've seen much worse films than this.
It's actually pro-consensual sex.
I know. That actually
is like, wow, in the 80s? Really?
That blew my mind. Yeah. Because, and we'll get to that, like, believe it or not, there is a plot to this. Yeah. I mean, it's thin. Like, I've had broth with, more body to it than this.
Well, it's based on a true story.
Are we talking like, Dear Penthouse, I never thought it would happen to me? It's a true story?
It was an article. It wasn't a letter.
And I guess it was Playboy and not Penthouse. Although actually, I'm not sure.
It was
Penthouse.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was even right about... Yeah. Because here's the thing. This actually feels much more like a Penthouse thing than a Playboy. Originally, this movie was supposed to be put on the Playboy channel. Playboy wanted to make movies. They made this, and Playboy was like, yeah, this doesn't have enough actual sex in it. This doesn't go far enough for us, which is really weird because I saw the Playboy channel. I mean, it wasn't like the Spice Channel, right?
Right.
It was softcore.
Do you remember the game show that had the unknown comic?
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and every now and then there'd be like a topless girl, and that was it.
Right.
And it seemed like whenever I would turn the Playboy channel on and watch Sideways because I didn't actually
Sideways, the bodies are green.
Yeah. Like,
it
that
flips.
that was always on. That thing. I was like, oh, it's this again.
This is the level of like Playboy stuff where you're not seeing hardcore sex scenes. Like there are simulated, but it's not. You see like 10 seconds of a guy thrusting, and it's not like
There's actually more sex in pretending to have sex than the actual sex scenes.
Absolutely. Yes. There's just a lot of topless women in it. And it's all topless. There's no bottomless. You see the guy's butt once when he gets out of bed. But that's it. This movie is so, like, again, it's sex, but it's not sex. Right? I kind of find that interesting because, as we brought up in the 70s, you had films that had sex in them. Sometimes it was not simulated. This isn't that. And Playboy was disappointed, but I mean, that's all their channel was. And this is all Playboy, the magazine, really is. You see naked women. You might see like the bottom half, but it's mostly focused on the breasts, right? And the butt. You don't, and this film is the same way. You never.
Maybe the Playboy channel didn't like how that one TV executive was treated.
Oh, I wonder if that was.
Maybe that hit too close to home. I
mean, that's basically all Hugh Hefner is.
Yeah.
Is like that creep at the end, and so maybe it was sort of they took it personally.
Yeah.
Because this movie is kind of unusual, as you say, because it's trying to have its cake and eat it too. Right? Yeah. It wants to show you topless girls and, people who are hot. But at the same time, as you said, it kind of makes a play for you should have consensual sex. You should be honest with whoever you're sleeping with. You shouldn't be, rounding up women and using them in this way. Or at least if you're going to like be sleeping around, you should both be on the same page about stuff. Yeah. It's surprisingly, I don't know, I don't want to say progressive, but level-headed.
For what it is.
For what it is, it's got pretty good morals. Yeah. Which is so weird.
Yeah.
But honest to God, like if you were a 13-year-old boy and you had to choose between this and like I can think of a ton of other things, like honest to God, give the 13-year-old this.
Yeah.
This is fine.
That's
fine. Give him this on DVD, leave him alone for a couple of hours. Don't ask any questions. Yeah. I feel weird having said all of that, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. Like
maybe don't give it to him. Just leave it somewhere that you can. Well, find
exactly.
It.
Yes.
It'd be weird if you gave it to him.
Okay, fair enough. Look, I don't have children. I've never had to deal with children. I don't really want to deal with children. They're fine, but they're people, and I'll deal with them when they're adults.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how parents deal with the whole. Oh my God, they've awoken up to their bodies. I don't know how you folks deal with that. Good luck. I wasn't comfortable with it when I went through it, and I don't know that I'd be comfortable with it if I had offspring going through it. So it takes place in Southern California.
Yeah.
I guess they filmed it somewhere between like Malibu and...
They say Redondo Beach, but You know, a lot of scenes take place on like in Santa Monica.
Right, because they have
'cause
the
you see
pier.
the pier and stuff. And it looks Venice Beach and stuff. Venice Beach is right south of Santa Monica. So
I was going to say, like, this is basically where you moved to.
yeah,
Yeah. So did you feel right at home?
a little bit.
I was going to say, was this your life when you lived in California?
No, not really.
I got the feeling that this was like a really accurate portrayal of what it was like to live in California.
Probably, I don't know.
So you've got this guy, Scotty, who I guess they say he's a surfer, but we never see him surf.
I was looking forward to something like that.
Give us a stunt double surfing, but we don't get that. We just get him being a bum.
Like, I'm a really big fan of Endless Summer, the movie.
Yeah.
And the other films that guy did, like these other, it's just shots of guys surfing around the world and stuff. And
It's cool.
yeah. And I was hoping for just anything. Just, like a board.
We don't see any surfers at all.
Like they say that they surf. A Rag, his redhead thing that he hangs out with.
Thing, that's not fair. Okay, look, Rag's got a bit of a little weasel boy energy, but
Yeah.
you know, he's basically like the lost, Wrigley brother.
I think he's like an older Scott Farkas.
And he's fine. I mean, he's kind of like the sidekick who's just not cool.
Like, and the first thing we see is the older geeks.
Oh
I
yeah.
forget what the guy's shirt says. It's something terrible.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't even like. But you've got like your 4 guys who are obviously geeks.
And I was terrified. Like, are we supposed to identify with these guys? Are these the guys that are going to rent, the house and all that? Because we saw the description of the movie.
Yeah, and the description of the movie, just let's go into that for a second, is that a group of middle-aged men rent a house on the beach and decide to have a young guy sort of act as their sexual Sherpa, get us girls.
So at first I think that the geeks are going to be them, and they come on the beach. This is where the dog comes in. The dog is trained to take tops off of girls.
It is exactly what you think. Yeah, that's the level of the humor. And like the opening of the film is just a lot of attractive young women on the beach, often losing their tops.
Right.
Which, I got to be honest, I go to the beach a lot. I've never seen that happen.
It's not at the right beaches.
Apparently, well, look, it just doesn't happen in New Jersey. At least not around me, man.
We haven't really gone up to where was Jersey Shore.
Oh, that's Seaside Heights.
Yeah, we haven't really been to that beach, so who knows?
Well, we have, but we haven't like hung out there as much as like South Jersey, like
Yeah.
truly South Jersey.
Maybe this stuff is happening all the time there.
Oh man, you mean I gotta go all the way up to North Jersey? Which I guess is really Central Jersey, but whatever.
No. Central Jersey it's like a guitar pick on the left side of Jersey, because like New York and Philly split the coast.
And I always thought that was weird. The way that they talk about, Asbury Park is like North Jersey, and I'm like, it's literally directly east of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that it's like on a, as you say, it's all on this kind of horizontal, not like vertical thing. Not vertical, what do you call it? Diagonal. I don't know directions. I failed math more than once.
But there's no road that goes directly across, though.
Anyway, the point being, I've never seen anybody lose their top at the beach as much as happens in this film. This is an insane beach.
Yeah.
There are no children on these beaches.
No.
There's no families. There's nobody picnicking.
And not just the beach. There's a club at one point where they're just dancing and a girl just takes her top off.
I've not, like, the one time I got a little too carried away with somebody in a club, I got the light shown on me right away.
Wow.
Like, they did not, and like, nothing came off either. Like, I'm just saying, like, they shut that stuff down real fast. Yes, right?
Again, the wrong clubs.
We gotta get out of Philadelphia, man.
I don't know. I bet there's clubs that we don't know about.
Yeah, actually, there are.
I bet we know people that could tell us.
Yes, we do. And we're not going to. It's just not, that's not us, is it? No. So that's the entire plot. There is a bunch of middle-aged guys, and they get this dude, Scotty, to basically, show them how to pick up chicks.
So there's 3 guys.
Yeah.
One is a cowboy, an old cowboy.
Yeah.
And a noble old soul.
Well, yeah, to be fair, he's like kind of the good guy of this trio.
There's George Costanza.
Well, he's much worse than George Costanza, and keeping in mind that George accidentally kills his own fiance, this guy is still worse than George Costanza.
Yeah.
And then you've got, you're Jerry, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so weird watching because the first guy you see is that guy Roger, who, the George Costanza guy. I swear for like a good 20 seconds, I was like, now wait a minute. I know Jason Alexander's not supposed to be in this film, but God, that looks like Jason Alexander. And it really does. It's, as you said, he looks like a weird mashup of Jason Alexander and Albert Brooks. It's very strange.
It kind of morphs into Newman a little bit sometimes.
Yes, he does. But yeah, so you've got these three guys, and I felt like that episode of Seinfeld where Elaine sees like the alternate universe of like the guys. Watching this was like, oh, there's a third alternate universe of those guys out there. We now have a Seinfeld multiverse.
This is the Shelbyville of
yes,
Seinfeld.
It really is. This is what happens. Oh my God, they went out to California. I mean, I remember there was a whole arc where they do go out to California.
Yeah.
Well, this is like if they ran into like their doppelgangers somewhere and they're just creeps.
Yeah.
Except I will say, as you said, the old guy, the cowboy is not a
yeah.
creep. He is actually just a dude who happens to be out in California. For like, they don't actually explain like did his wife divorce him or
they're all divorced.
They're all divorced. Okay,
Yeah.
And boy, they've got some real divorced energy. And like, look, there's nothing wrong with being divorced. Believe me, I support people ending marriages that don't work, but there's a type of desperate like thing that you saw that a lot with boomers and like I guess silent generation, like the people who like had their like I don't know. Their first shot at no-fault divorce, in a way, where they just kind of then all of a sudden, I got to jump into bed with everything. Like, oh, the shackles are off and I got to sleep around. And it's just kind of like, whoa, hold your horses, man. And to some extent, the film is also saying, as we said, it's having its cake and eating it too, in that it's like, yeah, we all know this is the fantasy of we get out of, a marriage and we get to sleep around. But at the same time, like these guys all like turn out to be like, no, nobody wants this.
Yeah.
It's sort of that weird, like, here's the middle-aged man fantasy, which is also like the adolescent fantasy. But at the same time, like everybody knows that nobody wants this. I don't know. As a middle-aged man, how did this play for you?
I'm older than these guys.
Yeah,
so.
well, here's the thing. They look worse.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, everybody likes to say, oh, man, people looked so old back in the day, but I'm definitely older than these guys, right?
Yeah.
And they just look rough. Like, I know it's UV rays. I know it's cigarettes. I know it's, not eating green vegetables. They're like the one guy, Hunter, is a little too tan.
Yeah.
Again, that guy's got some fine Corinthian leather for skin.
Like he's got a little bit of a Robert Wise look. Is that his name from Twin Peaks?
Yeah, part that guy, part what's his name? Bert Convey.
Yeah.
Like they went into the fly machine and came out. The cowboy, his name is Ashby, and I actually wondered if they named him for Hal Ashby, to be honest, because he kind of looks a little bit like Hal Ashby.
Yeah.
Which is like a little almost too highbrow, like a reference for a film like this to make. And then you've got Roger, who is our George Costanza stand-in, and I mean later in the film, his mom shows up and embarrasses him, and it was so weird because I'm like, that can't possibly be his mother. She has to be his peer. That's got to be his wife. Until they said that it was his mother, I was very confused. I really thought that was his wife because these guys look that old and she looks about the same age as them.
It's like they couldn't bring themselves to hire anyone over 40.
I think that's true. Yeah. They couldn't even have his mother be over 40.
I know.
So Scotty's this like bum who lives on the beach and apparently does not have like a job because he's months behind in his rent and he gets kicked out of his apartment.
He's a scammer.
Scammers are welcome here.
Yeah.
He's scrounging to get by. And who is he taking advantage of? These dorks.
Yeah.
So they basically see him picking up girls on the beach and they say, "Hey, show us how to do this." And they
he details their car, which means cleans it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a moment where like they're like, "Wait, what exactly is detailing a car?" And I gotta be honest, I don't know what detailing a car is either. Yeah. You know what? You could tell me you detailed my car, and I would believe you. Honest to God, as long as like the floor mats were vacuumed, I'd believe anything you told me.
As long as it scores chicks, man.
Yeah, we're gonna score a lot of chicks in our Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
Very practical chicks.
Once it's detailed.
racing stripes. It's got a fin on the back or whatever you call those things. Spoilers. Yeah. We have a whole montage of him like taking them around different places like a mall and
Well, he explains like how he because they're like, how do we get girls? And
I wish he did say how did we get guys.
I know.
That would have been a more interesting movie.
Yeah. So he says like, well, I dialogued them, and this was the first of a bunch of there was dialogue, there was BBD.
Oh God.
Better.
Oh, who knows? Were you really paying attention to the insane jargon they were coming up with?
Yeah, man.
It's almost glancing off the same world as like pickup artist stuff.
Yeah.
But he's not doing the whole negging thing. Like at least he's just kind of like talking to these chicks. He's doing stuff like falling in front of them as they roller skate by and saying, I fell because you're so beautiful. Like it's terrible. No, nobody. This stuff does not work on people, does it? It can't possibly. Right? Like I'm just.
If he's good looking enough, then why not?
Yeah, but then it only works because he's good looking. That's the whole point. Like if these dorks try to use that, and that's where the film falls apart. That's where I can't suspend my disbelief. Is the idea that Scotty's lines would work in the mouths of any of these three, except maybe for Cowboy. Yeah.
And then Scotty's like, well, you guys have to dress better, and so we'll go shopping, and that's where we'll get lots of chicks too. Of course, Roger puts on a Hawaiian shirt, and the cowboy just changes into a different cowboy outfit. Like
you know what? It works for him.
Yeah,
it's totally fine.
But it's like, did you need to change anything? I think he darkens his beard too.
I guess, but they don't even make that consistent in the film.
No.
Like he really doesn't change much about himself. And you know what? He actually didn't have to change anything at all, which I kind of appreciate. And then you've got Hunter, who's kind of the leader of the group, and he just wears these terrible flashy outfits.
Yeah.
And he's oh God, I hate that guy. And to be fair, we're supposed to hate him.
Yeah.
But I hate him.
Of course, plot with him doesn't really come around until like the last third of the movie. It's like it sets up this situation. And then, okay, now we have to have some kind of conflict.
Right.
And they manage something.
They invent one. Long story short, Scotty's able to show them how to, meet women. They throw a big party, and you start to meet, like, certain women who are part of this circle of characters. And there's this one girl, Cindy, right? Or Candy? Candy is her name, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there's this one girl, Candy, and she's a flirt, but she doesn't really usually go all the way. And the thing is, like, a lot of the guys kind of get that, and it's explained earlier on, like, yeah, you're not really going to get anywhere with her. She's just flirty. Hunter, like, they have, like, a big night out on the town and stuff, and it's, we're all having a great time. And, so they threw this big party, and, like, the band Vixen, who, as we said, they play under the name Diarrhea something, like, they're there, and, like, some guy who runs a gym is just like, I'm going to put them on a record. Like, plot, who cares?
Yeah.
But they have this big night out on the town, and Hunter somehow, I guess, ends up with Candy, and
this is after an actual segment that sort of works, the guitar playing while sex is going on.
Okay, that was pretty funny,
that
actually.
Was fun.
Yes.
Where the cowboy is playing this song, he's playing his guitar while he's getting
He's getting a blowjob.
Yeah.
Yes. All off screen except for him holding the guitar. And like it's dumb, but it's kind of a funny scene where like he's told not to stop playing.
Yeah.
So he just keeps going.
And there's other people having sex at the same time, and it's all going along with the music, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, you know what? For the type of film this is, it's a decent enough scene. But the problem, of course, is that Hunter happens to be with this Candy girl, and she won't put out because she's just not interested. So he essentially tries to assault her.
Well, his move is to throw wine onto people's clothes and say, "Oh, you better take that off right away."
Yeah, he's very clever that way, isn't he? Yes. If you take your top off and rinse it out in the ocean, then it won't stain. So she does that, and this is his attempt at bedding her. It doesn't go, and so he gets, rough with her. Scott steps in and is like, yo, you can't do that with people. This is our moment of you need to have consent, which again, I appreciate. Look, it's 1984. This was revolutionary at the time. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Again, hats off to the film, because Scott steps in and says, you can't treat her this way, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes to comfort her. So Hunter gets his revenge by telling Scott's girlfriend that, hey, by the way, he's getting it on with Candy right now. As Scotty is comforting her, the girlfriend sees that he's comforting her, thinks that they are hooking up, and breaks up with him. Hunter moves in on the girlfriend, while also using their newfound ability to get chicks to launch a TV show about him bedding chicks. What a concept.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, he's kind of ahead of his time because, this is kind of where a lot of media has gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, it's, Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
We said that there is a band and they're trying to get signed, and there are these hard body competitions on the beach. And like part of the whole idea of the film is the body of the 80s is women who are bodybuilders. They're not like, super muscly, right?
Yeah.
We're not in like Love Lies bleeding territory, but it is that sort of, girls who work out, got muscles, but like they're not big and they're on the beach. So you've got like this whole, I don't know, like part of that whole 1980s bodybuilding enthusiasm thing, which I mean is interesting to see, right? Like it's kind of interesting the way that this is very much of the culture of the time, right?
Yeah.
Between that and like the kind of music that they're playing and like in a very weird way, this is how I do remember the 80s being. If you had thrown in some professional wrestlers, like if you just had like, I don't know, Hulk Hogan walk by in the background, I would have said, yeah, this is kind of what I thought the world was like when I was a child. Yeah. I'm serious. It has the same aesthetics as like an episode of Gem. So Hunter is trying to get with the girlfriend, and all of the girls actually hate him, though. So he's throwing this big party. He has all these TV execs who are coming. He's trying to pitch this TV show, and all of the girls show up. And I mean, I don't know. Did they all get the word out that this guy's a creep or something? Like, all we know is that they turn against him.
Yeah, it was a plan of Scotty.
Yeah, so Scotty comes up with a plan of like turning all the girls against him because of, him turning the girlfriend against him.
Yeah.
So, and also just because he's a creep who kicked Scotty out of the house because he stopped an attempted rape.
Yeah.
All the girls are like, yeah, Hunter, we'll totally like sleep with you. They start pouring wine on him to, essentially doing to him what he's been doing to all of them. And so then they take off all his clothes, cover him in honey, and he thinks this is going to be some sort of weird hot sex thing. And then they basically just cover him in feathers and humiliate him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great. Actually, I like that part. That was great. It was...
And at the same time, like the TV guy is humiliated by somebody. And,
because he's also being this weird creep and stuff. And at one point, Scotty, like, I guess, gets all of the geeks to show up and crash the party. Mm-hmm. And we finally get, like, our only allusion that I know of to cocaine in the entire movie is somebody has, like, a plate out. And, like, that, I mean, for a film that feels like it should have cocaine like everywhere, this is the only time it shows up. I was shocked. This is a rated R film. There is so much weed in this movie. You would have thought it was made today.
Yeah, the scene with Scotty and Christy smoking a joint in the bathroom and like working out their problems reminded me of that scene in the bathroom in Valley Girl.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But made around the same time period,
Speaking of, I was looking up this movie in just in articles and stuff, and I saw it was being shown with Angel at the same.
That's interesting because Angel has a very different feel, and also Angel's a good movie.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes away from where this movie was being made, but
so different. Although not entirely, because once not unlike in this film, you've got sort of your hero figure is this old cowboy.
Yeah,
it's actually not that dissimilar in a way.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. So yeah, Scotty, gets revenge. He gets back together with his girlfriend. Hunter is humiliated. Roger is humiliated when his mother shows up.
Yeah.
And
now, is his name Roger or Rounder?
Both.
Oh, okay.
It's Roger Rounder.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the names are not used very often in this movie. The only one that gets his name used frequently is Scotty. I had to keep looking up, wait, who is who? Who is that? Look, it's not a complex script. Like, they could have used their names more so I could know who was who.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the end of the movie is that. I don't know. Like,
the sun goes down and three girls walk out on the beach and someone somersaults at the end.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is basically what I thought it would be. And you know what? That's no bad thing. look, there are jokes in here that, don't feel great.
No.
The whole thing with Roger, our George Costanza having blue balls through the entire film and frequently putting ice on his crotch, I thought was just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That is like it's juvenile in the sense not of, oh, it's fine to make fun of not getting laid. I mean, like, whatever. It's more like the idea of, like, nobody's putting ice on their genitals. What are you talking about? You just go in the bathroom and, take care of yourself. Like, it's that weird sort of like, oh, he's so hard up. Like, I'm just, like, I don't know. I'm not a dude. I've never had the equipment. So, no, people don't. I got to ask, do you know anybody who would have put an ice pack on their genitals because they couldn't get laid?
I can imagine someone making a joke about it.
Right, but that's not a thing.
It's like it was written at a bar the
Yeah.
night before or something, and they're like trying to write down gags. And of course, there's the one gag with the skateboard and going under the car with the gap between the guy's legs, and yeah.
Look, there's a lot of dumb gags in this movie, but you know what? That's the kind of movie this is, and that's the kind of movie it's supposed to be. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
Look, is this a good film?
No.
No, but it's perfectly enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't hate this. I can't imagine how they would show it on cable.
It's no meatballs.
Well, no. But wait a minute. Hold on. Stop.
Yeah.
Why, of all the movies we've covered, would you go to Meatballs?
Because like later meatball clone movies
Yeah.
go this direction.
Do they?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
That's
maybe
crazy,
not, maybe
'cause
not
Meatballs-
meatballs itself, but I mean, meatballs was kind of promising this kind of thing.
But see, that's the thing. Like, that's the weird part about Meatballs is it's too geared towards kids that you couldn't do that, right? Like, there's no topless scenes in Meatballs.
There isn't? Yeah.
Like, sometimes I kind of forget what's Meatballs and what's Wet Hot American Summer. Yeah, but I mean, like, there's things in this movie that are so an adolescent boy's fantasy of what being an adult would be. For instance, Scotty's bed in the apartment that he gets to live in. Okay, one, it's a waterbed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very silly. Like, not the idea of I mean, first of all, waterbeds just seem like kind of weird and wasteful to begin with. Like, I've got a whole thing about that. But, like, in terms of, like, laying on one, maybe it's fine. I don't know. It seems like it would be weird. But it's a very active waterbed. That's number one. Number two, the headboard is like the dashboard of a car, and you can change the speed of the bed, the lights in the room. He has a disco ball above it. Like, again, this is what a child thinks is cool, and it's being made for ostensibly adults. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, this is a movie made for a 13-year-old. Maybe younger, maybe even young. Like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it's like that bed that Milhouse's dad.
That's
was sleeping
exactly
in.
what this is. That is Milhouse's dad. This is Kirk Van Houten's dream. Oh my God, that's what this movie is. This is what Kirk Van Houten thought his life would be.
Yeah.
All right, well, against our better judgment, that was Hardbodies, starring Grant Cramer, Teal Roberts, Gary Wood, Michael Rapport, not Rappaport, Rapport.
Yeah. I was excited. I was like, oh.
I would not get excited about seeing Michael Rappaport, by the way.
At least someone I knew.
Oh, there's nobody you know in this.
Vixen I've seen.
Okay, the band Vixen I've seen, yes. But and Sorrels Pickard played our cowboy. Now, that guy actually is was a musician. You know,
Oh, okay.
He was actually like a country musician. He played in Nashville and stuff, and he just like had like a bit of an acting career. And he
reminds me of the guy in the Michael Landon Angel.
Oh yeah, the other guy,
Yeah.
the one who wears the Dodgers hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember that actor's name.
I can't remember the show's name.
Highway to Heaven.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But he was also on Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they did 2 shows together.
Huh.
That's kind of all I remember.
Yeah.
So that was directed by Mark Griffiths and written by Steve Greene Eric Alter, and Mark Griffiths.
Really needed more people to write
I
that.
can't believe there are 3 people worked on this script.
You know, I'll say one thing. This felt more like Venice Beach than where Cobra lived.
This felt like a more authentic California to you.
It captures Venice Beach better, I think.
I've spent about half an hour in Venice Beach once. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. You can follow us on social media. We are Mary vs. Movies on all of your major platforms except for Tumblr, where it is Mary versus the Movies. We are on Instagram, where we have like posts of, whatever show we're watching this week. We are on TikTok, where we have videos. We now have a puppet named Reginald that we've been making some silly videos with, introducing, the movie of the week. Dennis,
He's not a puppet. He's a friend of ours.
you're right. What did I just say? Oh my God, you're right. Oh, I hope he isn't mad at me. Let's see. But otherwise, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we are on Twitter /X, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Facebook. You find us wherever people are bored. Let's see. We are on all of your major platforms. Actually, that's not true anymore. We're not on all your major platforms because I don't know how to put this stuff on YouTube. So somebody walk me through that if you would. But otherwise, you can get us through Apple Podcasts, where you can rate and review the show, and we would really appreciate it if you did do exactly that. And we're on Spotify, and we are on Overcast, and like I said, we're still working on the whole Google YouTube thing. So apologies for that. But otherwise, you can get our RSS feed and plug it into whatever your podcatcher is by going to the Libsyn website that hosts us. Let's see. We have a Patreon where you can help support the show, and we would really appreciate it if you did, because believe it or not, this costs money. In fact, we paid $3.49 to watch this piece of junk.
Wow.
I know. So if you want to help support us watching more movies like Hardbodies, and help pay for things like the cost of our server and the use of, we have a Zoom account, and I'm still trying to line up some guests who haven't gotten back to me yet, but fingers crossed, and things like that. You can help support the show for $3 a month, and in doing so, you will get access to our second podcast, Hollywood Avalon, where we watch Arthurian movies. Our most recent episode was The Fisher King. We're late getting a new episode out. It's things have been hectic here. We've got some family things going on and whatever, but we will have a new episode out soon. But in the meantime, go and listen to our episode on The Fisher King, or go back and listen to other episodes like The Kid Who Would Be King, The Green Knight, what is that? King Arthur, that one from 2006 that I hate. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. They're like Bugs Bunny cartoons. We did an entire episode on Bugs Bunny.
Morgan Le Fay.
Oh yes, the Sex Girls of Morgan Le Fay, or whatever it's called. First of all, that was a good movie.
It was.
And actually,
I'll say better than this.
It was a much better film than this, and much sexier film than this.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Mary vs. Movies. And I guess that's all my whole rigmarole.
What's the next movie?
Our next movie, we're staying at the beach, sort of. I don't know if we are actually. The next movie we're watching is called Atlantic City, and it stars Burt Lancaster when he was old. So I have no idea what that movie is. I don't know. But it's called Atlantic City, and so I thought, hey, it's 1980. It's named for a city in New Jersey. That sounds like the beach.
Was that before Nebraska? The
yeah,
Springsteen?
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I don't know what the movie is about. I don't know.
This might be before the Chicken Man blew up.
It is. I believe it is.
Wow.
I know. So yeah, that's going to be our next film, is Atlantic City. So until then, until next time.
Listen, guys are sick of wimpy broads.